Saltfish stew is what I
Mm.
like. So
But
do
I like
give me day and night. I like your food, so don't find me rude. My favorite, I sure every man in here already
it
guess
agree.
saltfish. Nothing in the world sweeter than saltfish. English cod or local Bajan saltfish. It's sweeter than meat. When you want to eat, all saltfish sweet.
Yes, so good night to each and everyone here inside the EBS show. Lovely Monday night is short for entertainment, and we got the guy Andre. He is here right now. Hey Andre, say good night to everybody. Well, because of
Good
the
evening.
problems here, because of the problem we're having with the internet, we decided we'll go a little retro, but still, you know, on the phone call, but not direct in person. Andre,
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, Kavi. How are you going?
hey, I'm good. I'm good. And how things with you, my brother?
Things are fantastic. Actually, we in the Taste of Carnival week, right?
Yeah. Ooh. I just said I
So,
saw. Yeah, I just said that. I saw a song today with that name in it. Something about whenever I could back on earlier,
was
remember
that
about it?
what did you say?
Some song, some new song with Tisa Carnival and something about When I could back on earlier today,
Yeah,
remember?
it's Taste of Carnival week.
Yes, yes, yes. And there's a song all about the
Taste of
Tisa.
Carnival week,
Yes, there's a song about
and
the
of course,
Tisa.
lots of activities taking place all over the place. I mean, over the weekend we had College Boys Jesse. We had the Clash of the Tents yesterday evening. I also on Sunday yesterday at 9 a.m. we had the traditional mass and so on at the Queen's Park Savannah. So lots of activities happening in terms of the taste of carnival, you know. And let me take some time out to say congratulations to my eldest brother because I mentioned the taste of carnival traditional characters, carnival characters, and he won the traditional Indian mass category. So
Okay, okay.
congratulations, Felix Junior.
Yes,
Yeah, so
congratulations.
yeah, yeah. We're supposed to have Gary with us this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Chucky should be joining us later on, as well as John Arnold, uh, because this evening we're talking both Sparrow and of course Nelson. Natasha Wilson Josh will be joining us as well from New York. And we spend 2 hours talking about those two gentlemen who obviously worked together over the years
Mm-hmm.
in Sparrow's head. Um, and Nelson is big on the scene this year, doing a collab with Kes, different Tala,
Yeah.
and the old bull still sounding good, strong as ever at 90.
Yeah, man. Oh,
We're thanking God for his presence, so important that Nello still with us and still going strong. So let's take some music, bring Gary in, let's uh, move on with the show.
So, so as I mentioned, the Nelson, I gotta say, they're going out to the ramp on August massive logging on. Let me get them a taste of the loudness. I wonder who might, some people might not heard this song. So, like, get them a taste right now. What do you think?
Sure, not a problem.
They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me do me thing. They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me spread me wing. They want to see me do me thing. They want to see me spread me wing. They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me do me thing. Yes, long time they want to see me. It's all them thing they want to me, and all them style I go bring it. I go start the back and now, boy, them calling me name. That's the price I paid for this fame. Let them know I still run the game. I'm the king of Bacchanal. They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me do me thing. They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me spread me wing. They want to see me do me thing. They want to see me spread me wing. They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me do me thing. Cause they want to know when I down in the bar. They want to see me, they want to know when I raise in the air. They want to see me, they want to see me do me thing. They want to see me spread me wing. They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me do me thing. In front and center, all them bumpers surrender. And I'm not taking no prisoner. Now we start with carnival. I'm gonna walk up the king and so. I'm gonna pick up my shirt and show. You know we ready to get some bad work. They want to see me, they want to see me do me thing. They want to see me, they want to see me, they want to see me.
They want to get so good night, hey, and Gary,
Sabi
how you doing?
ganun.
Good night, welcome. Gary, hear me?
Yeah, sabi. Yeah, ayun.
Yeah, man. Don't
Yeah.
worry. Yes, I'm hearing you. So I'm a little. I could help you out some more. Yeah. We have Andre here, you know. Andre is here,
Good
man.
evening.
Angela? Good evening, sir.
Andre, Gary is
Oh,
here, you know.
Angela just didn't mind to. Do you see the face today? Or?
Nah, here what we see,
Well, happy Carnival Monday. It's Marshall Monday, no? Today is Marshall
Well,
Monday,
Andrea,
no?
and yes, as we are Gary and Andre, we have to wait for the other person to join us. So we have a dog back. Andre,
I mean.
are you?
I forget to put the dog in the back. Lord.
Yeah, security system. Okay, man. Okay.
If it is one boy here, man. Oh, I feel I'd rather put it in the back. I really forget that today.
But and Andre,
yes, I'm here.
right. So there we go. You want to back to some more music or we start?
Let me check my security system.
Oh, you want to sort everything
Yeah,
out?
yeah. Well, to have him back in 3 next 2 hours, that makes no sense.
All right. So yeah, I'll take it off
All
music
right,
and
let's practice
see
some
what we got.
music and um, let me talk with you off air, Sabi.
All right, cool.
Good.
I wish somebody will tell Shorty I he should never believe his own life. You underrate me so grossly, my friend. Say not too old for the both of them. But we all understand that is your opinion, your wild imagination. You should be using your knowledge and not your skill, though you are a master, soca innovator. The chicken is your talking make you want to squeal. All of them is too like you, I like the deal. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. You're talking and listening, but I doubt in me hearing. It really puzzling. Lucifer correcting see. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. Love man, you acting so strange. Times have changed. Investigate and research properly before you give your tongue liberty. Them kind of rumors you should never start. I know that you know better than that. If our people out there very shocked when they hear you giving me lecture, who make a lick for him and a man for him. I took your advice, gonna do it nice. You criticize me, hope it isn't just the other making love, man can be jealous. The more the merrier, the more the merrier. From super sexy, the number one stud. You play yourself till you find it hard. You were great back then and you're great presently. But don't call me name your hypocrisy.
Harry?
Education, show reputation, with your malintention. And you know to yourself you're a dirty old man if you want forgiveness for your life of goodness. But when your brother Calypso you start to attack, Kendrick don't tell party but on black body. The more the merrier. The more the merrier. Love man, you have been so strange. My mind, how times have changed. Nothing we do ain't good enough, you said. Maybe self-righteous has gone to your head.
Harry?
Well enough alone. He who is without sin cast his first stone. If you can't say good thing, how come and say nothing? All that is Bible teaching.
Yep. Harry, are you trying?
My bad. Good night. Good night again. Good night, everybody. Andre. Andre.
Zeno Constant, are you there?
Is that me here?
Good night, sir. How are you going?
Well, here.
That is important.
I never forgot last the whole 2 hours because I also does need sleep. But
I'm not want to tired. We will excuse you. Want you tired?
So far, we good.
So, Andre, you should be hearing him now.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Right.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Amen. So we
We have Zeno Obi Constant. Welcome.
Yes, okay, I hear. Just in time.
I'm sorry I can't see him, but
That's all right. Zeno know what I look like. Yeah. So yeah, good. So, gentlemen, we
Where you going, Andre?
All right, 2 men disappear.
Yes, sir, what? Did you host disappear on me there?
Right, me intentional.
ouch.
yes. So again, they trying to kill the sparrow.
Gary, Zeno, you hearing him? You heard Andre?
Yeah, I heard this one, yes.
Yeah. So, Andre, ask the question again.
Yeah, what I was saying is that last week we were having a conversation about Sparrow and the fact that there was a nasty rumor again swirling around about the death of Sparrow.
You don't go ahead and sit down. Hi, Harry. Feedback. You don't go ahead and sit down. Harry.
Yeah.
I was getting a big echo there.
Yeah.
I was getting myself a big echo.
All right, now I deal with it. I deal with the situation there.
All right. You know,
Yes.
we also often what Andrew talking about now. They're trying to kill Sparrow another time.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the what is with higher than umpteenth? Something higher than umpteenth. The 17th time, um, which is interesting. And I think Marva put up a thing on Facebook that best explains this. That people so want to be the first to get the famous share news that they don't ever wait. It reminds me of when I was small and your mother lose something in the house, come back, you and your brother or you and your sister try to go first to say, I will find it. And I think that
Mm.
was compound the whole thing. Because no one waits, no one verifies, and they say, all right. But I think Crazy got power to send out a voice note saying that all right. So far, you good to go.
TDT interviewed him from New York, the very morning. But we killing
Yeah,
Sparrow long before Facebook.
yeah, true. I
So I
mean,
don't, I don't think, I don't think the why there's a good reason trying to be out there first. There's a good reason she put out, but we trying to kill Sparrow long before Facebook.
yep, yeah. But I think the sentiments held even before Facebook. No, I don't know what caused the first one when Power reacted with Simpson back in I don't know
Mm-hmm.
60 something. Um, Although one has to be careful that there was an actual situation because I think this Power melody created a lot of situations that were not real. It was just made for the public, for the records of the film to continue. But that
Mm-hmm.
been on the first one. It was melody, the obvious melody.
That's long time ago.
Yeah, with the face like a saucepan.
Yeah.
He walking in the junction. Um, but this Power dead. I can't remember the exact year. It would be um something in the early 60s. I didn't look up for it. Um, and then of course we had the one in about 68 when both Sparrow and Power reacted. Sparrow sang Sparrow dead. So
Mm-hmm.
if you see this woman with a flag in her hand telling everybody Sparrow dead, and Power sang is Sparrow really dead? Right? And a very facetious kind of song, tongue in cheek thing, saying that nothing, no, just tricky trying
To sell
because
me
he owes
records.
somebody money. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think we wouldn't stop that, somehow or the other.
All right, to come back.
Even now, more than ever, according to what you said, people really want to be first, whether it's true or not, they don't care.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
people have to go and take down things that they already put up, you know, when they realize it was premature.
And that's one of my biggest problems. I just cannot. I just get real pressure when I put up something wrong, boy.
Well,
Anytime I put up something inaccurate, I just wish the earth could open up and swallow me. And people
yeah,
running
yeah.
to do this thing.
Well, sometimes it's good to wait and make sure. And you mightn't be first, you're going to get the fame, but it's saving the trouble.
Well, yeah, too, Admiral. As I've got reported, there's always report facts. It's the facts first. Nothing else. If you have reported facts, it doesn't make no sense. So
Well,
you still
yes,
have to
news
come and
have to.
correct it.
I suppose so. Even in
You
these
still have
times
to
when,
correct it.
Yeah, he's still here. He's still here. He's listening. I don't know. Like everything want to play mad again this weekend here. The ghost.
Well, once we can hear him, it's all right.
Once a what?
Probably, probably we can hear him.
Yeah. Well,
Once you get the other side, we are among the same.
Continue, gentlemen. Continue. Continue.
No, we can move on. We can move on from the dying, because the man ain't gonna die now anyway.
Yeah, I listen to every word on this thing. You know, like, but um, the whole idea is, I know between Melody and I think one since he had mentioned Melody somewhere inside of that song, that that Melody started that rumor about his death at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I said Melody was the man get blamed for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
was
it was
wondering
true.
if that would have been part of that whole Tikong thing that was happening between Sparrow and Melody in that period.
Yeah, that one saying it. I don't know because I was trying to know if there's an actual rumor going around,
Hmm.
but it might have been a manufactured rumor as well as it might not be, as
Right,
far as the rumor to create Simpson.
right.
Yes, it should have been unplanned, the way they were behaving with each other. Well, people do that now, so it nothing wrong if they were doing it back then anyway.
Yeah.
In game people that want to listen to you more. You spread a rumor.
So, Mighty Sparrow, in terms of um, Calypso, entry into the Calypso arena, and then of course, why I want to bring up that that period of entry in the Calypso. I know this week we had some rumblings with Toco and boycott and so on. So I when I saw I think in terms of that whole argument about Tuco's action in terms of the carnival, they they invoke Spyro and some of the commentators invoke Spyro in terms of when he boycotted the Calypso competition and when Guyana or something I think it was.
Or actually, he went to the Globe Theatre.
Oh, he went. I, uh-huh.
Yeah, you mean in the 1957 boycott?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's after the 56. I felt that was a very brave move by Sparrow to win one crop and then decide he ain't going back because of the
Right.
prize money. And
Right.
that
And of
that is
course, and the ghost of that prize money came up again this year with the whole taste of carnival. So that's why I refer to it. I,
yeah.
And when Sparrow one was $40, you're telling me about prize money to me.
but
When
do
Sparrow
you
one
know, is
was
there
forty
something playing
dollars,
in the background by you? I'm hearing. I'm here.
By me? Not by me. I hear as quiet as the grave. I
me
think not
too.
mosquito right
I,
now.
I take care of my alarm already. No, yeah, as I was saying, Auntie, back then was $40 the man win. You weren't
Yeah,
going to
but,
defend
Okay.
Canada $40.
but I think the case was set out in Superior's Calypso year after I think called the Brass Crop. Because what happened is
Brass
that
crowd.
where someone get $40, the Carnival Queen get a Simmons bed and a trip
That's
to
right.
Canada.
That's right.
I said there are things.
Yeah, they
I mean,
compared it to the
by
Carnival Queen. The JC's
by ten
Carnival Queen.
yeah by tenfold he get more than the Calypsonian. So Sprout decided to lead that boycott. What is interesting is that I don't know how many people supported him. I think Melody, maybe a couple others, but Spoiler, for instance, sang in both competitions. He sang in the Savannah and he came out to
Yeah,
the
they
Globe
went
Theatre
on
and sang again.
Canada.
Um, so it wasn't a total boycott because competition went on. Pretender won the crown by singing in the savannah with spoiler second. And then spoiler came down the road and I think came third in the to Sparrow and maybe Melody in the Globe Theatre. Sparrow singing, of course, who want to go, but I ain't going away. And surely the prize money did go up a couple of years later. So by the time 1960, when it returned, it had a little more money. And I suppose a lot more respect because, I mean, the idea of giving pittance would have stayed there for a long while if that didn't have um, that first attack on the whole thing. Because getting money was um, a small thing.
His boycott was made a improvement in the whole situation after.
Yes,
He
it
led
did.
a boycott, which eventually turned out to be profitable to them.
Yes, and I think that overall it must have um, shaken up the people who have the money and wanted to give because they
Definitely.
always wanted the Calypso there. And if they could get it for free, they'll take it for free. But of course, Power say no. And I know Superior's support because he also wrote a Calypso in support. I don't know if there are any others maybe mentioned in other Calypsos. But they gave Pretender a chance to win one crown and Striker a chance to win two. It's why
Hmm.
that have happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so not the others get in trouble to stay inside.
Yeah, Andre. Shoot again, Andre.
Hmm? Andre?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
So go ahead and waiting on you now.
It should be all continue. All continue. I enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, well, I don't know where we going next. So, well,
But we finished that.
just,
We finished that
just
because it benefited the boycott, benefited Calypsonians all wrong. Those who stayed were able to win a crown. Those who went with Cow also won some. So the boycott was a good thing.
yeah. And I think we had another of those in 1969, I think it was, when we had the King of the Wood competition in Santa Park. That they say that Shorty won, but Stalin was instrumental in inspiring Kitchener to this perform as guests. Um, so that was another attempt time when we did something different.
Hmm.
I thought this would be a good year to boycott it.
Well, I know coming to the Andy, so this boycotting this year, how would you compare that to back then with $40?
Well, but I don't know. I'm not sure it's a boycott. I mean, Tuco say they enough have enough money, but then people went down in the bowl and sing to get
It's
a,
a
a few
clash.
for the Sunday night. There'll be a good chance here to say, well, since Tuco, since
But
we
yeah,
umbrella
it
about the
was
same
about
way and
money
money,
then.
we just win the go.
If they end up singing, it was about money, not about prize money.
Uh, to sing and they get it.
I ain't too sure how sweet it is at this carnival is, you know.
Well, um, you know why they spending the millions. That was had a purpose behind it. But well, I know. Uh, I thought that it's a very calypso that I was playing just now. It's no calypso in the background with a batok. If I was saying something, and we have
You still not
Yeah, because if Nelson come in later, I don't know what is
Yeah,
the
agenda.
procedure.
Uh,
Uh,
um, we can, well, we can, let me just talk Sparrow. Is what year he got his first goal record.
I mean, but
Um,
I don't know, only a fool.
by Julian Jaganese, yeah.
Oh,
I know he always said that it was a goal record, but he said it was not Calypso. But he did tell me that he said it was not Calypso, it was his first goal record. But to me, a goal record is a goal record because when you stand it, you're the world number one Calypsonian anyway. And it happened, I think it's in Canada, it got the goal record. It's out of Canada, if
okay,
I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken. And but that proves how much the man can sing. You know, when you listen to Sparrow singing that only a fool, you know how much of an entertainer he is. Well, I could say is he's still alive. We ain't killing him yet. He's still alive, so and he could still sing. But that proves how much Sparrow was as an entertainer. I think that was in '68, somewhere around there,
okay.
1968. And then they came back and do it over a second time. But the gold record came in the first time in '68. That whole album supposed to be good. That is Sparrow Meets the Dragon. I think that's the name of the album. Sparrow Meets the Dragon. Um, where they formed their own record label. They both came together and formed their own record label for that. So it was a profitable business venture back then. It's sure about it. But
So, fellas, what
but
we'll
this
do, fellas, what we'll do, we'll take a short pause. We'll play two songs and then we'll come back with more inside the eBay show tonight. Let me
uh,
see. I'm looking for a nice sparrow.
Any oh nice, you know.
yeah,
I
you
look,
have the one we just talked about?
No,
Only a fool?
what it is?
Only a fool breaks his heart. Paran by that is his first goal record.
I don't have it personally here, but what about this song, My Belief? Or My Beef or something?
The one we have, brother.
The one where I have? All right.
Yeah, you just on it. The Sparrow we talking about?
No, oops, wrong one. Sorry.
That's Shadow.
Wrong one. Sorry, my bad.
It's Shadow. No. Oh, no.
I'm in love with Betty Lou. She sister Mary say she love me too. Both of them, both of them, it's both of them, the both of them. You walk out so, she say the next is time. Both of them, both of them, both of them, the both of them. Just because I ain't like them scandal, they hire your partner to today. Kitchen, I like all them partner. So I called Kitchi on the phone one day. This is what the old man said. Do
on air.
Oh, come, buddy. Kitchi where she want. Kitchi where she want. Kitchi where she want. Man, come on. Both of them. Both of them. Both of them. The ladies you are waiting for, I want a lover, not no bread and love. Both of them, both of them, it's both of them, the both of them. I know all men like to roam, and I know charity begins at home. It's both of them, both of them, the both of them, both of them. For this sister is such a loving child, our relationship is great, and she always wear a charming smile. Kitchen I say, body don't hesitate, there is nothing to sit and contemplate. Do it, do it, do it. Oh, body, get she where she want, get she where she want, get she where she want. Man, come on, both of them, both of them, both of them, the both of them. Though she prettier than me, I could boogie down better than she. Both of them, both of them, both of them, the both of them. I remember Lord Melody, shame and scandal in the family. Both of them, both of them, it's both of them, the both of them. All the breaks are breaks was all in vain. She asked me if I'm showing off. Then she started to tackle me again. She not say, boy, you must treat them rough. Otherwise, the woman go say you stop. Do it, do it, do it. Oh, oh, booty. Get she where she want. Get she where she want. Get she where she want. Man, come on. Both of them, both of them, both of them, both of them. If I was a different chap, maybe I would have get trapped in that. With both of them, both of them, the both of them, both of them. All the offers that she made, I think about it, but I couldn't make me great. Both of them, both of them, both of them, the both of them. Variety is the spice of life. Polygamy today I dread. I'm kitchen up, old advice. I still could remember what he said. The message still ringing in my head. Do it, do it, do it. Oh, come, buddy. Get she where she want. Get she where she want. Get she where she want. Man, come on. Both of them, both of them, both of them.
We both of them. Hey. Dun, 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 dun. So,
Nice music, nice music, nice music.
Andre? Okay, that's all. I know I want. Yeah, so I don't know. As you know, came back off. So I
Everyone.
We want this.
That noise is not me. Eh?
Yeah, I know that you. Yeah, just wake up, kind of with the Andre. I talk like you're just skipping a beat.
And this is really a trouble.
All right, so you're coming in now. I still song is
Because I
empty.
hear you also.
You're trying your best, right?
Oh, it's no use trying.
Yeah, Gary. Let me see why we are trying to sort out. This ghost in this machine here. Yeah, the ghost in the machine, Gary. Boy, this ghost is.
They're nothing. They're nothing. And just a talk to me?
Only a fool breaks his own heart. Only a fool breaks his own heart.
Built-in output. Okay,
Let me
Andre,
call you
let
back
me
here.
hear Andre talk. Andre,
Go on.
right. Continuing at the interview. Oh, yes, so. I'm gonna play something in the meantime. I saw this out.
Why do I keep fooling myself when I know you love someone else? Only a fool breaks his own heart. I pretend that I don't see when you walk with him down the street. Only a fool breaks his own heart. I have to admit it, even though you hurt me so, girl. I can't forget it. If I'm a man, I'd let you go. It's no use trying to hang on to a love already gone. Only a fool breaks his own heart. I have to admit it, even though you hurt me so, girl, I can't forget it. If I'm a man, I'd let you go. It's no use trying to hang on to a love already gone. Only a fool breaks his own heart. Only a fool breaks his own heart. Only a fool breaks.
And that is so true, eh? That song is so true up to today.
It's amazing that voice that we just heard is the same voice that's the swing Congo man and both of them on thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's the same voice.
Yes, it is.
Hey, look at Andre, boy.
Good evening, gentlemen. I think we work it a little better than the time being. Mighty Sparrow.
Go ahead, Andre. We're listening to you.
Yeah. I was just saying, I was listening to you all a little while ago, and you mentioned Kitchener and Sparrow, and I know Sparrow would have gone. He would have traveled to London to meet with Kitchener to talk about coming back and that kind of thing, to perform somewhere. But I also heard that Superior would have had a part somewhere inside of in getting Kitchener to come back and that
Yeah. No, I think Pretender also says something about that too. I don't know how true it is. He calls power and then come back home. So that makes it interesting.
kind. Yeah. But then of course there are other stories about that whole tent thing, Kitchener and Sparrow and so on. And then of course we had things like No More Calypso Song and so on, which was some kind of back and forth between Kitchener and Sparrow in that early period.
I suppose it sounds like Maria, echoing on Rose and so on is what Kitchener was referencing when he's saying no more calypso.
Mm. Maria or Rose? Because I know Sparrow had a song called Rose
Yeah, but remember
in
Maria also Maria is also
all right.
I'm hearing an echo. Do I need to put on a earphone? Why am I hearing an echo of my side?
Grabby.
Go ahead, Zeno.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was saying that.
we get the delay.
Okay, listen, as Sparrow sang Maria and Rose around the same time, 60, 61, 62 there. Um, And when he and Kitchener fall out, Kitchener did sing no more calypso song. Tell him sing something that resemble carnival, not the ballads. So
And
because Sparrow would indulge in those um, slow ones where other people would have gone in those times. The calypso would have never think about going to Marie. I love the way you walk, Marie, and I like the way you talk, Marie. That was too much of our song for calypso
that's
to venture
fine.
on, or they did later on.
But that singer song thing even went as far came quite up to David Order, because it was said that David wasn't singing calypso too. Wasn't David wasn't singing calypso, David was singing songs. So it
Well,
went from since then to other.
yeah. Well, in the crossover is what the problem going to be. Rhoda kind of did it, but remember, some people also slow down their versions of the calypsos to almost warrant that kind of discussion. Stalin have a very slow jazzy version of "Love Your Own," you know, um, and even before Rhoda arrived on the scene, Valentino had an album called "The Third Old Messenger" with a lot
Mm-hmm.
of a jazzy feel to it, and some people didn't like it at all because it wasn't calypso. I don't know. It's stretching the bongs always to identify the calypso. That is calypso so hard to identify. There's so much.
Is it strategy? Is it strategy bonds or innovation? Trying something.
Yeah. Well.
Let us just
Um,
stick it to the what we consider calypso, adding something to it, or
well. Yeah. All right.
changing a little for acceptance. I don't think it's for it was for acceptance. They were
No.
just trying something different.
No. People have tried things all the time. I mean, because music that is caught in the carnival season will always try to break out of it. And when a man get a little calypso fame during the season, and after the season come, he want to continue. He will try to go into that area, making songs that could kind of fit into what is happening afterwards. The kind of ballad, pop,
Mm-hmm.
reggae kind of thing afterwards. I mean, that happened all the time. I think Rhoda was because as soon as Rhoda stopped competition, he went into those songs, that played on the edge of the calypso thing.
Yeah,
But
much
I
of
think
the
it really
yeah.
because I used to tell Lion the same thing that he played Lion would play thing like chick to chick dancing and Four Mills Brothers and so on were very very much like the American version. So it's
That's
always
right.
people always try to go with the calypso one step beyond trying to reach a kind of international something beyond the vernacular and the 2/4 time and I think in the calypso. And in fact, my should also try that. My should aim when he was creating the music then was to try to get a music that lasts all through the year. And then Shadow do it with My Belief when the whole album was in August or in July or something. So trying to do that was always and will always be a thing that Calypso will try, trying to get a new market, to get a little beyond to
Carnival.
survive.
Yeah. Well, we looking for year round music, but we also have to remember where that came from. As from Ash Wednesday, we can listen to Calypso on the radio station, the two radio stations we had. It was forbidden to play Calypso. We got to remember it's from that guy Calypso and Pan just struck it that carnival thing. As Wednesday came around, we couldn't hear Calypso on the radio. And that went on for years. So
Yeah, well,
to get around, that is it, to get around that same period up until Ash Wednesday, you had to do something to change it. And I saw two things, the music and the lyrics changed plenty. In the same Calypso, I still call them Calypso because that's the mother still. And it happened. Now, while the music changed and the guys made songs to be played throughout the year, the radio DJs choose not to play them. And that is one of our biggest problems in Trinidad and Tobago. Radio DJs don't like Calypso and or soca outside of Carnival, which is strange because there are carnivals throughout the year that the same soca singers from Trinidad and Tobago go into these places to sing the songs. We not kind of mess, When it comes to this music thing in Trinidad and Tobago, we not mess, The problem is we don't know we not mess. We really don't know.
well, yeah, that is true. They have, I mean, we have and a small number of cultures that have, you know, broken the carnival restrictions um, and work. But people will keep trying. No doubt
Yeah,
about that.
change is inevitable, so they will continue, and we keep hearing it in what we call it the soca too. You hear any change in the soca from where it started to where it is now. Plenty has changed, and sometimes you get a sweet one, and I mean a sweet one that you could talk about constantly. And then again, when you listen to the majority of them, you know they ain't playing on the radio too much. Those
Well,
who try to be innovative will always succeed. But
no, that change um, is an inevitable thing. Yeah. Um, I tell students in classes that their children will one day tell them, say, "Ma, you used to listen to Bonji and Fianda. Because it will change again." I will try to
But
to listen
but
to.
what
Go ahead.
what is happening now, gentlemen? The younger Californians are coming back to storytelling in a sense. You know, you're seeing that especially in the last 2 years of this pandemic and so on. You're noticing a lot of people telling more stories kind of thing in the soca even. Um, that is happening a lot. You have things you could dance to and also follow a story. I mean, you could multitask in the true sense of the word, that kind of way. That you could have a sweet melody, a story, and of course a dance to it. And so we're coming back where we're supposed to be in terms of what the root of Calypso, um, of the music is, Calypso music. So the soca coming back around to that real.
Zeno, did
Uh-huh.
Sparrow visit soca like Kitchener did? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Did Sparrow
You mean is Peru? Well, when the stalker arrived, I hope you'll hear me now. Trying the earphone thing. So
yeah, it's perfect.
yeah, when the stalker arrived, Sparrow said give the fellas a chance to see where it's going. Kitchener said he
Okay.
would never sing it. He would never sing
You
it.
will never see that. Right, right.
Um, so, and Stalin said, yeah, again the argument, nah? Black music, all is black man music. It's this thing. But Sparrow was smart enough to realize something happening.
It,
Let me
yeah, it was trending.
watch
It was
out and see.
trending. Yeah.
So Kitchener had to swallow his words when he do Sugar Boom Boom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Sparrow was always smart enough to recognize something happening because he had gone through those changes.
Mm-hmm. And he did well. Sparrow did well with that soca, you know.
Oh yeah. In fact,
He
one
did
of the people who did extremely well with the soca came from that young brigade, which in the first power time was Melody. Amazing how Melody
Yeah,
was able to in the
he had
80s.
some good music. Yeah.
Them soca he had done it, and it's very
He had
infectious
fantastic
soca.
music. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so because you would think, um, Pretender had said an interesting thing about it as he talking about how the soca change and so on. He said you can't write a soca song. You can write a calypso with a soca beat.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an interesting argument because Pretender is saying that the soca is the beat, which is what it set out in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's interesting now to see that soca is a different thing from calypso. They try to make it sound like that.
But that is
Because
exactly what Andrew was now saying. Andrew is now saying the young people telling stories, which is calypso, soca, which is a beat. This is the point Andrew was just making. Some young calypsonians are now going back to storytelling to soca music, which is what you said. Peter said back then is a calypso.
yeah,
Is you're composing to a soca beat.
yeah. Well, that is, but you know, there's always been the commentary in all soca, old soca, new soca. What happened is
Mm-hmm.
that the competition restricted or pigeonhole what the calypso should be like. 3 verse, 8 lines, 4 verse and chorus, that kind of thing. Um, and that was what caused a little thing there. Without that, we will recognize that everything in soca is commentary. Whether you're telling the fella to wine in the party
Storytelling, that's right.
or to raise your
That's
hand,
right. This
you
whole
know. And
social commentary.
yeah,
Most of
no,
the
no,
time, social commentary.
no, but every calypso is a social commentary. Every single one, it can't escape
That's
it.
right.
Right? You might feel that not do it. I was saying not do it to jam back and mean it, but it's a commentary about something in our party. And it was
Yeah.
interesting to see like Patrice mind your business thing.
Drink
But
water.
it works with 4 lines before she go to the chorus. Um, just like how, as I just suggested earlier, the early calypso, the single tone calypsos were. And a lot of times when people talk about this youth soca, and nothing to do with calypso, or it's not a real thing, they forget that calypso was 2 line, then 4 line, then 8, now
Yeah.
12 and 16 sometimes, and that the two
Right.
line is as authentic calypso as a 4 or 8 or 12 or 16. The problem is the, the competition dictates otherwise. And what is interesting as example, Sparrow singing 10 to 1 is murder.
Mm-hmm.
Now, now that is 1960. It is clearly about 20, 25 years after the coming of the 8 line calypsos. Right. It is a whole half a century after, more than a century after the
after
calendar two line.
the calendar.
Yeah, and yet he makes a successful calypso
Yeah. And
with
yet he makes
four
us
lines
with
in the
4 lines
stanza de verse and a calendar call and response in the chorus. As a big calypso, 10 to 1 is
for
murder.
is for the
Mm.
as a big calypso.
So you know, so when you hear the people doing that thing now with four line, it's not that they stray far from the traditional calypso.
No,
They
no.
stray far from the cocotte 16 line, for instance. You know, no, that was not a critique. You know, I mean, cocotte does
I know. It's
the
not a
long ones.
critic.
Yeah, that is
It's
different.
16 as compared to 204.
Yeah,
So
it gone that
but
far.
that is why in the early a man used to repeat a line. Remember, you sing one line and then you come and you repeat it again.
Yeah, well, the opening line
So,
repeat. The experts they come from the calendar when we were still singing. You know, when
mm,
I dead, bury my clothes. I don't want nobody to wear
yeah.
my clothes. Two lines. And therefore, when they went to 418, they kept that two line as a repetition on the top. Those are style.
Okay.
So you can't condemn the new soca because you have to get a name, the new soca, for being so uncalypso when they only have four lines
Oh,
sometimes.
really? And today is a calypso.
Yeah, because it went back to what had four line. I mean,
Yeah.
when I doing this, the examples I give that is I was singing things like water. The people want water. It's a basic call and response calendar. Or Bungie doing
Mm,
from the in the ghetto. The ghetto, La Hakata is from the ghetto. In fact, Bungie have a lot in that inside the song with call and response, even by the way he grunts, right, without the word. So that call and response calendar thing still there, and you could hear it sometimes in the soca. And the other interesting thing about it is looking back from this 2022, back in the past. Right? If you belong to the teeny boppers Zesta generation, you call everything
mm,
from 1975 to 1995 around that time calypso. Because when you ask them what is my lover, what is sugar boom boom, that soca boat, all that coming up,
mm.
Bahia girl, all the things we call soca when it came going forward, looking backwards, this call it that is calypso because it is
Calypso,
something
yeah.
like you know,
They do it now.
yeah, and but you see, the same way our daughter resemble a mother, it's just it's soca the calypso, and
Well,
it
as I said,
there,
calypso is the mother of the thing, so
yeah,
can't get away from it.
yeah. So that is the unfortunate thing, you know, that when you listen to them carefully, um, in fact, I say two things about that. 3 years ago, I started listening to the soca on YouTube just to see where it is. And I found a lot of the soca, what they call it the soca, were playing with the normal commentary, despite the whatever, sorry, beaten in the head. It were playing commentary anyway. And I say, hey, this is interesting. And then in one of my calypso classes in UWI, I had invited Ufam, and he made the point that
Right.
he and Tweedy and Orlando and Voice and them say they are going to um, go as far away as they could from just the hand in the air thing and try and keep making the commentary runs, which of course they do. You know, if
Yeah.
you listen to
Yeah.
Orlando is singing calypso, and I mean calypso in inverted commas. The calypso when I say that I mean what we what we have to we accept, well, not me alone, and what people accept as
Storytelling.
calypso.
Yeah, storytelling.
Yeah. So I think yeah, a lot of uh, stress over it for nothing. I mean,
So that's
you
until
know,
we done mess and we don't know we done mess.
yeah. So
We fighting something that we ain't supposed to be fighting at all.
no,
Because the original thing that is happening now,
I
and we
mean,
still fighting it.
yeah. I think all right. I think the Toco Monarch people, after a while, try to weed out whatever was traditional sounding calypso from the Toco Monarch to create a competition, because that's what it is. It's not a movement, it's a
Mm-hmm.
competition that they could call a unique thing. It's a thing called the
Soca
Soca Monarch.
Monarch.
And those have Soca. Remember when it
Mm-hmm.
began, it was Calypso sung a little faster. I mean, because it had at the beginning Resistance and East Plummer and um, Poser and I mean, that's so most of the Calypso number in the competition in the early years.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the watershed year was when Shadow sing Stranger. I mean, I think they panicked because Stranger was so Calypso, but they went as Soca Monarch. And they how you can explain that soca is different from calypso? It's a young generation thing. And I think they
And
reacted
yeah,
the next
yeah,
year.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, that was just how that is operate. If there was no competition, we would just sing, and we would like some, and we would like some, and we had to like it because the main thing about a calypso is a communication thing. If it communicate, it get popular. When you try to say,
Mm-hmm.
well, that one is good because they have this, or they have that, you just being elitist because if there was no competition, who would I care that
What is it about? Yeah.
yeah if if Take Bamboo Girl is the most popular song, nobody will care. It'll sell a million copies and we do something else. We look at the American charts. They have some of these idle songs get which number one on the charts. So right, it's a perception of what you want to thing. And I mean, as also another thing about it um, is that there's a kind of educational gap, perceived educational gap that creates this talk. The people who know, looking at the so-called now and saying, if others saying nothing, and they can't write this language and this metaphor, and they can't do these things because they're educated, forget that the generation before we was telling me the same thing. Yeah, that's what Attila
Indeed.
them was saying. When Kitchener come, Attila them say, what is that you're singing? What is this thing about mango tree and green fig and so on? Because they were saying, the whole long eight line thing, and
Yes,
and
intellectual.
yeah, intellectual is a better word. You see it all the time. You see it that my generation before me would say when they study Greek and Latin and they studied from Oxford and Cambridge exams, and we have stupid little CXC which water down the whole thing. It's not a religious concept really. Um, so I have no problem with the people and them thinking this soca. May have to like it. That's the important thing. Yeah, I still like certain kind of, but I like some of them. I mean, I hear Gary Codner singing that thing this year. That thing that's mixed with sugar. I mean, it's
Teacher,
so sweet.
that's sweet, that
Gary Codner.
one. All also. All
Where is
also
it
to be
all now?
man.
All now so. I mean, yeah,
Yes, we
God,
tell you last year we was doing all also we would have been doing. That
yeah,
sounds
that
sweet,
is,
boy.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
sweet.
So I can't condemn and say that is soca. And in fact, I want to say this before, as a last point here before we go on, but talk too much. There's an interesting thing that happened a couple of years ago, which I see, me and who see it. Nadia Batson have a kaisoka before I give away anything called Skinner Park.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that didn't get as big as it could get because it was at the border of two generations. The older generation say, that's a soca, so me interested. The younger
And the other
generation say,
one,
that is a calypso,
the
they're interested.
calypso.
But if you hear Skinner Park, it have Nadia's trademark melody and thing. But a story, a whole calypso about how she mother wanted to kai. She calypso first time when she was small and she wanted to go, but when Coco mash up the place and when she started to kick up the dust, get to like it. A whole convention song about the power of the semi-final, but also about what happens when two generations meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And she get, I think, half acceptance each way. So interesting.
this soca calypso thing wouldn't stop. But I mean, maybe we could do like Shaq, who is particularly called Kai Soca, safest.
I think, gentlemen, the big problem here is this something, this generation gap, this so-called generation gap, what's killing this whole thing. Because you had to settle for what this is about. It's either we call it the old name culture, which the world already knows, right? And then we move forward, call everything culture. And then we, because that brand outside there, how much years? We had culture crazy 1996
Mhm.
and so on. So, and the other point I wanted to make a little earlier was you were talking about the length, and I think I raised that last week, Gary, the length of calypsos and the single tone calypsos that you were talking about. Because if you notice, um, yeah, I heard a radio announcer complaining that a song is too short. It's about, I think it's Jolene Jolene on Mango Tree, by Ken.
Yeah.
That's about 2 minutes plus, not a full 3 minutes. Now, Lion and Tiger, and then used to have a song in that kind of time, in terms of the duration, you know. So we back them, and that ties into the point that you're making about this whole, and I think Hamidullah was talking about that last week, the university calypso or something like that is how you refer to it, the intellectual calypsos or whatever. So you come back, you come from the early days, let's say the golden age of calypso coming up here from Lion, Attila, all them fellas, famous one was out in Hendrix, I think is the name, Houdini, right? And then fellas coming up the road. That fellas song was short. Um, Lion used to do some songs that was close to kind of styling like Cab Calloway, and then fellas used to do jazz in cities coming up the road. And then in the middle, we had all these fellas doing 7 minute songs on the collective scene. And then, of course, we back here now in the 90s into the 2000s, and we come back to that short form again. You understand? What is all this generation thing about what is calypso and what is soca? It is music, and let me move forward and tell some what they
All
call
right.
it.
Yeah, one of the things is that I don't know I do not know what happens in our studio now. Right? I
Mm,
mean, I never get close to it. But
right.
one of the things that happened before was that the things that control the length of the song had something to do with what they could do in the studio.
Mm,
I tell them had no choice but to keep it short because they could only have X amount of time. Right? When you're cutting the record, you had to make one take because
One take, yeah,
right.
that's right.
when,
One take.
cause when you record, you can't throw away that the plate because you couldn't record on that again and going through.
Mm,
I remember Tiger saying when he went to New York, he had to do what 20 something songs in one sitting. And I have heard calypso from that era with mistakes, but the men couldn't do it
right.
over. Right? When they hear the mistake, it's a minor thing. I mean, in Lion's Cheek to Cheek dancing, he says when she come from the bathroom, something, I was dancing cheek to cheek. I think he was gonna say she was dancing cheek to cheek because a song about lesbianism. So that's
Right.
what I think. What happened is that when we get to the 50s and 60s, especially, the men had the four voice and they couldn't fit four on the same 2 minute thing. So they would do is make three, right? They fit three into the 3 minutes kind of thing. And then when we get the disco 45 or the disco 78, which could take 7 minutes or 8 minutes, then they started liking it. I mean, it ironically came in the 70s and that soca thing. But if you listen to Sugar Boom Boom and My Lover, them fellas are just play music for a minute and 5 seconds before they sing,
Yeah.
Right.
And if you
That
go
is
back to
unfair.
yeah, some of the Beatles song, isn't it? Go back to things like "She Loves Me" or "The Hard Day's Night." Them fellas is singing as soon as he thinks that. It had no introduction music.
Right.
It as a start, the record start, it's that. So I don't know if I don't know what caused the man to go back to 2 minutes now. That 2 minutes thing, it might be on purpose because I don't think I think they could make a 4 minutes, they could make a six because they have their own studio in the backyard, and they probably could,
Right.
but they probably don't want to because the way the rotation is, And I think my
Well,
point I was making
that's
about
the thing.
Aaron Duncan. Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, since you're talking about look even the length of a steel band piece used to be what 10 minutes or so, and then now it's down to,
Eight.
to what 8 minutes.
Even a tag on only.
So it's about I don't know if it's attention span or whatever as got shorter in that period.
No, but the thing about it is that if you leave this table alone, they will play 2 minutes of music over and over, because that is what. No, no. What I mean is that if there was no competition, they would still get the
Yeah.
basic verse and chorus melody, and the crowd will follow them all down the coffee up Charlotte Street
That's
because
why
that's where I
that is
want.
the last
Yeah,
chip.
yeah. But when you create a
The last chip
competition
to
and
have
says,
a set arrangement.
yeah, if you want to hear arrangement and you want to extra thing, it becomes. I mean, that's not the only thing. There are a number of factors that create the length of a song. So I don't even know what happening now in American music. So I don't listen at all. So I can't make no thing. But I know from the 60s there was 2 minutes and 3 minutes was the length of our record. I suppose it could be longer now. And fucking about it's probably gone back shorter now. I don't know
Not,
what Jay-Z and
not
company
necessarily. It's
singing.
around the same kind of like some of the
4 minutes.
Toco. It's
Yeah,
that kind
Four
of
minutes.
industry standard kind of thing that happens.
yeah. I think the longest we had was when we had the Disco 45s and composer them and them could have take plenty music and band chorus before they start and band chorus between, and then they have a kind of ramage coming out at the end, and they gotta play long because they had to fill it up.
Right.
But something else you was saying about calling all calypso, um, that might be a point. Posa will agree to because Posa is tell Bonji them find a name for that thing or they're singing. That can't
Find
be
a
the
name
same.
for that.
Yeah, that can't be the same calypso. The same Stoker we know, right?
Right.
And I don't know if I mean and there's a nice song. I say the song as if it's a Calypsonian.
Yeah, that is
Calypso,
really a song.
Calypso call it Calypso song. I don't know that's
Yeah,
traditional
that's
thing.
song.
But Joker have a thing that Derek Seal sing called the Clash, which Soca and Calypso discussing in the Savannah. And that's a very interesting approach, or not approach alone, but argument in the song because Calypso say, listen, I was big back in the 50s and in the Calypso craze and making big. Kostoka tell him, but you is nothing now, right? I mean, now I did much up with thousands. Calypso say, before you was in my show, got on Shorty Belly, I was singing for the tourists. And what it was showing is that it have the strengths and weaknesses in terms of the outside market, which one had and which one now have, or in terms of people's perception of the music. One of the things I always tell people, you go to YouTube and type in Calypso, and you will get soca coming up. And you
That's
type in
right.
soca, you get Calypso coming up because the little girl in British Columbia or in Nigeria cannot differentiate between Rose and Destra. All of them is that what I think was from down there. We could
Mhm.
differentiate, so we got big fuss over it and say, well, that's not the same thing. And um, big slap us for nothing in a sense because we try to make the Destra song as if she's a far thing away from Rose, but it's not. Listen outside, you can't tell the difference. All the same kind of beat, same kind of beat, kind of rhythm. You know, I can't solve the problem. I don't know how to solve it in terms of how the market. What I think is that because of competition, we missed the boat over the years. Because I was
Yeah.
here sometimes. That was in the 80s when Blackie now come. Around that time, Blackie first surfaced as a Calypsonian. There's some
Home
fellas singing
Alliance,
some.
man.
There's some fellas singing some song, singing some calypso day that was sung so melodious. It was as if they crossed the soca into the calypso and take it back out. It dripped with sweetness. But them fellas never get no recognition. They just leave them for the jungi thing to survive. And sometimes if they would surviving, I mean, I see somebody was saying, by Chogda's fault. It's not Chogda's fault. Chogda's is Chogda's. Right? It is Tobago Chogda's fault because we you want two Chogdas. So yeah, well, I mean, so you can't blame Chogdas for not need to. He established something the way he do it. But why we have people singing all these
So,
melodious thing with good melody and thing and good lyrics and you can't get past. Well, let me make the last point. I seen an argument going on Facebook right now. I will not jump in the argument because I know better about somebody saying that Kitch is not a good lyricist, he's a great musician. And the reason for that is because we have come to feel lyrics as big metaphor and big words and long thing and big thing and by where
yeah,
if the fella with the name started with L does do and the next one who name started with C does right. We feel that it is. But my argument is that Krishna is probably one of the greatest lyricists ever in Calypso. There's never a beat, a syllable, a meter in Krishna's lyrics. Krishna wouldn't write
right,
a line with eight beats or 8 words, and then the next line following with six. All have eight, you know.
Mm.
All have eight. And tell you what, I remember once we were doing the play, and Chantal come and
right.
say, "Hey, Zeno, you have a mistake on this calypso, you know." I tell she, "You mad? Krishna don't make mistake, girl. It have none." She say, "Yes, something sung it off when I singing it." I say, "It can't be off. That's the master." When she
Right.
showed me the thing, I realized it was off. But if Cotton Kitchener was off, I typed the lyrics wrong
Did it all right.
because Kitchener can't be off. So you arguing that Kitchener was a simplistic writer, lyricist. You mad?
No,
And
no.
that
He
is
was a
because
fantastic writer.
exactly the people in the competition tell you have to have this kind of thing for your lyrics. You have to have this kind of thing. And the man singing
He was a
what
fantastic
appears
writer.
to, yeah, what appears to be simple. I mean, Kitchener is one of the greatest at the double time people ever live. Sometimes it's so subtle
Right.
you can't figure it out. Even now when we more alert. So it's that whole going back to the competition thing because if you had no competition, you're free up to do anything you want. But when I hear others singing things like you are the one and I love them things too, but they can't pass in a competition, but they're so beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not constrained by having to do three verse and chorus. You can do two verse and a
Going
chorus.
to competition, yeah.
Yeah. No, I ain't limiting competition. There's something inside it that I can't stop, can't do admit. I mean, I'm vexed with it that we have allowed certain kinds of calypso to survive easily. And you go to the 10th and a manga 8 encore, but you can't get to the semi-final because somebody's singing some juggy thing because it have nice lyrics. A kind of calypso is not poetry, Calypso could be poetic, but it's not poetry. So we don't want to hear poetry with this boring melody that you can't remember. Every good calypso have a melody that it could fly on. That's why I remember it. It wouldn't have
That's
survived
why
without a
it's
melody.
good. That's why it's good. You could sing it. You could sing it.
Yeah, yeah. But you can sing some of them song the fella with the name C does right for them young girl. And I'm like, I have no court close.
I like to call it initials,
I no court close. No, but so when I hear them and I hear the same hackneyed melody and the same string pushing
over
the calypso
and
and
over
over and
and
over.
over. Yes.
But when they have 12 people in the final, here there's one have four, and one have three songs in the final with the
Yes.
same melody. As I hear them, I pick them up and I hear the first line. I say, "Oh shucks, that's the
Serious
old
lamentations.
yeah."
You could
You
identify
you
the writer.
yeah too easily. because they playing
No, no.
with the
Take,
same thing.
take up in a moment there.
Yeah, I go on.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, so
yeah.
go ahead. Yeah, say all
No,
right.
I know you were talking about fictional lyrics a little while ago,
Yeah,
right?
I shouldn't have gone so far. Yeah, my fault.
Yes, yes, yes. You know. So you remember we were talking about Bati Mamzel because I transcribed that some time ago. Um, and you talk about simplistic lyrics, but I mean, listen to this. Gemma, I want to know where you learned this dipping. Darling, I want to know where you learned this dipping so. You remind me of a fly that's dipping, always dipping by by. Girl, you know it well, Bati Mamzel. Gemma, when you dip, you're dipping down like a Bati Mamzel. Darling, and your hip taking up like a Bati Mamzel. You learn from a river, you learn from a well. I like when you dip like a Bati Mamzel. I mean, and they, you know, down in the back of the song, you know, you have it's like the last verse, I think it is. Gemma, I hope you see what you have now done to me. From the moment I wait, that's why I start to say, this difference must be captured. Night and day I practicing. See me, move me hip. You give me the tip. You know that kind of way. Right? Simple, but we know it's not just dipping dipping in water. We're talking about like the dragonfly. You know it's much more than it's much more than that.
Yeah.
And that's three double ata from kitchen up. You know because
I,
he decided. Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
I think yeah, we get tired of this stupidness that we had done for years that progress is a great calypso, and I say yes. That portrait is a great calypso, and I say yes, right? But I
Right.
also say what make them better than get something on the wave.
Right.
You know, it doesn't because you can't take portrait and party on the road. You can't take
Right.
progress and party in the fed. So they serve different purposes, and therefore we can't say one is better because we put a competition and say that is for crowd. That's this stupid about a Savannah song. Make no sense, right? A song will be good if it's good, and there are
Song
good
for the big
songs
yeah.
that get. Yeah, it have a song for the big. Well, have a song for the big yard because that is something created since in the 30s and 40s by the colonial powers to stifle the African risque kind of jamet carnival songs. That was done for that. So that um, you know that Netty Netty could not win no crown. Right? What could I win the crown? The Graf Zeppelin by Attila. How that could be Blakey singing Steel Clash? It
One
can't.
Sunday
But
morning, I stand to hear a rumbling and a thunder in the atmosphere. One Sunday morning, I stand to hear a thunder in the atmosphere. Da-da-dee-da,
mhm, people were flocking
da-da-da-da-da-da.
everywhere,
Graf Zeppelin.
gesticulating, pointing. They were
Yes,
watching in the air. It
but of
was the
course,
Graf Zeppelin that
definitely,
had.
definitely give me the thing that you have in your belly. They dump all in the Gulf of area because they wanted lion to sing out. Netty, netty, give me of this in your abdomen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that was
yeah,
part of the sanitization, and I'm saying that good a
yeah,
long time. What happened? The people would reclaim the calypso on the road in the Lego,
right,
right? And therefore we now market and say erroneously, you know, I'm here crazy making that point all the time. I'm having a big one next year and something with a philosophy, the next big one. Yeah, but Nani Wine is a big calypso because it conveying something, it communicating something, it magical in its own way, right? And a
right,
lot of
And the
calypso,
people
good
not there.
calypso, there's the calypso waste because we have to go this kind of thing. I tell you this, I sure nobody here, well, except Angela, because Angela could probably could sing, remember thing, but who could remember man's imagination? That when a monarch.
right.
Now I know that there are more constraints now because a long time monarch would have get plenty airplay or at least more airplay than normal. them fellas no mind getting none. But we could hardly get in.
Right.
But at the same time,
Man's imagination was by whom again?
so you see what I mean? Look how easy you forget the
I
man.
mean, I mean,
Eh?
decisions to that.
That,
But I
that
think that
according to the life on the play,
that
that
would
is
have been about 2 or 3 years back. That's all.
2019.
young boy, I the young boy.
2019.
By
My
young Mr. London,
Young
right?
boy from South London.
yeah. I mean, and that's my
Yeah,
boy
yeah.
because that was my students in class, what kind of thing. And well, boy, and
Yeah,
Right.
London.
I told his mother after the semi-final when she go in the savannah, go to good clothes because you go for crown. And I said that because I heard. No, I was just judging on what else I heard, and I know what the judges want, and what they like them kind of thing, and so said so done.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I think was the best song, or I think is a great song, or anything like that. It doesn't matter. What the point I'm
Based
making
on
is
what
that
was in the competition.
it survived against other things that was mashing down the place, you know, because it a fit. Anyway, that's the next competition thing. I want to engage in that. Oh, well,
Andre,
Yes,
we,
yes, Gary.
what's your clock?
yeah, I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
two
yeah.
o'clock.
I'm okay.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
supposed to talk about somebody
we're
else too,
supposed
eh?
to have what's his name coming, but I ain't seen him as yet, Sabi. As well as Natasha,
No, I
they
ain't
didn't
see.
come. But
I ain't see none
but
of
we
them.
going good enough because we discussing the music and I spoke
Well,
because
let me sing Marcus Sparrow a little bit.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, but
right.
the tangent, alright, Gary. The tangent,
I know, I
all
know,
of
I
that,
know, I know, I know. I know.
all of that is about the mighty, the right honorable Doctor Singer Francisco.
We go,
Board of
if it takes 40 albums to put your songs together, you know how much songs you man have, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
His Millennium series is 40 albums, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Right.
That alone will
Good.
tell you how much songs the man have. And before that, Eddie Grant did what, four?
Yeah,
What Eddie Grant did was what? Four volumes of Kitchener, if I'm not mistaken.
And I think
Two, sorry, not
two
Kitchener,
flowers,
Sparrow.
one
So
a
you
flyer, one
know,
a spoiler as well.
so you know how much music we talking about. I also like the fact that Sparrow dive into the gospel somewhere along the line. He did some gospel music. What do we call that? Soca gospel? I wasn't too
Mhm.
sure what they call that
Gospel,
then.
gospel.
I find all they get quiet when I hear the
Who
gospel
that?
episode.
No, I thought I was picking up on me. I not to see.
Not hearing.
Yeah,
No, I
no,
just
I
think
just his
gospel is good.
gospel.
Gospel is good as it is.
Yes, damn right it's not.
Yes, we were supposed to get Natasha in, but apparently she didn't come in. And
See,
what is his name? Uh, uh,
see, that thing I just sent by email to her, so I ain't sure.
all right, okay. But we here, and of course we get
Yeah, we
Natasha.
talking and very, very,
Yeah,
very, very nice.
let's get current now. So yesterday was that show at Naprima Bowl. I don't know if any of you had a chance to look at it or view it. Um,
Sorry, I did not.
you did.
No, I
Um,
did not.
it was quite an interesting show in the sense that the most of the artists performed like one song. We had the likes of Super Blue, Bali, we had Corner, who again? Johnny King and so on. Um, but of course, the way the show was put together, you had some highs and lows. The music generally was good. I'm talking about because there's not no flat-footed stuff, too many flat-footed stuff, right? It was nice and bouncy. And so you didn't have a crowd because of the time it took to market the show and so on. The band did a really good job. That Coral Rodriguez and you know, at one point I saw Crunter give a couple of those guys in the horn and solo in front there. It was spontaneous. But now I understand that there are about nine Californians from that going forward to the weekend to the march, to be part of the march, which would include that nine would be the 2020 more Lions, but the show could have been a better show in terms of choices and but he said had to put in a couple of parties from so some people like Arrows decided to let some of the younger Palestinians move forward. But, it was a good show, but it could have been better. I don't know if you saw it.
I can't comment. I didn't watch it.
Yes, I don't know if yeah. So this weekend, we're gearing up for fun, which would be the medium and large band. And we
I
have,
think tomorrow we have King and Queen prelims or something like that.
all right,
From tomorrow,
we have,
actually,
we
it's
have,
Carnival Week, It's Carnival Week.
so I said, no, we label it Taste of Carnival Week.
Okay. We tasting Carnival for the whole week then.
Whole week, yeah. I was
Yeah,
telling I was telling Travi maybe we could come and do an evening show this week, that kind of way. Play some music, play some of the music and have a time, that kind of way.
we could discuss the new music. We can discuss the new music, music of
Yeah,
2022.
yeah, because I
We
mean
just
we had some really nice pieces the last few weeks coming out, especially the full blown, which blew me away, that kind of way.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's one.
I also listening
Travi,
the
Travi, you
euthanasia
have
was
that? You
talking
have that
about.
anywhere?
The euthanasia was
Full
talking about
blown.
Andre.
Hello?
The euthanasia was talking about with Joan Chakari.
It's
That's
open
nice.
house. Yeah,
Yeah, that is
I
beautiful.
sent that for you
Beautiful.
a little earlier there.
You saw that?
Yeah. Not well. I sent it on Facebook actually.
No, that is a nice song. I know it. I know it.
So it's a kind of take on just the two of us. If you rock from Ralph McDonald, um, so it's following in the footsteps of what he did last year with one of those pop songs. Um, he just basically used the changed the lyrics last year in that but this year he worked along with what's the name um Sakari
Joan Chakri. Yeah.
yeah, Johanna Johanna yeah Sakari this year and, he is his voice his voice and those keys work beautifully together on that song. And of course, the vocal arrangement inside that song. Tough, tough.
Well,
That, that kind of Grammy, Grammy, Grammy award kind of feel.
voice is out and bad nice though.
Was it?
Voice, the last one. But we're gonna discuss that next week. This week we're not discussing the
Yeah.
later in the week we'll discuss. We'll come up with all these songs and we'll discuss them. But it has some nice
Um,
ones, on it.
Krabi,
On it.
Krabi, you have any of those two songs, like the full blown song anywhere close by? You can just probably give you a little taste of it.
Which one? Which one you talking
Full
about?
blown, the new song from Full Blown.
Full
I
blown,
don't know if you
from full blown on the what? Palm wine with him.
there's a, yeah, yeah. Give you a little taste of that, and then you play the open hours afterwards with Joanna separately. Take, take all yours on your side.
All right. Um, I could bow out now, Andre.
Huh?
As a little, could I bow out now as a little winding up?
Oh, well, it's just 11 minutes. You can stay with us and we wrap up in a little while.
All right, let's see. All right.
And
I mean, I hear.
you're out now because you're out for a little while. You get two
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. No, like my Wi-Fi drop and
I just,
I can drop out. Up to me. And it does happen all the
We
time.
see you, but
yeah,
we're not hearing you.
but
Yes. You're not
so
hearing me.
what we can
You're
do,
not. Yeah,
we
go
can
ahead
Yeah, we
now.
hear
preview
you. We hear
what
you.
will be happening on Wednesday night, right?
Okay.
Because this is Taster Carnival week, and in this Taster Carnival, we start the the launching the celebration of Kitchener's 100th birthday anniversary. And of course, you being, is, you know, one of the members, long standing of the Calypso Collectors Association. Tell us a little bit about that organization in terms of, I know people like the late Dr. Louis Regis and so on and so forth. Tell us how
Oh
that
yeah, I initiated the organization back in 95, 96, somewhere there, because I wanted well, that's a personal thing. I wanted to block somebody stealing the music. So we had about 12 to 15 people in all. And we had a good thing in the beginning for about 3 years. We put out about 6 episodes of our newsletter, and we kind of network. We try to do something that I am presently doing, which is to get people to put all their calypsos in a single basket, so we could each know what each other have if you're looking for
right,
something. It didn't work out too good because some of the people never play. But we did go by Rocky McCollins' son and catalog what he had. And
right,
after a while it kind of it fell off, but we kind of moved into a kind of virtual group. So people still communicate and so on. And in fact, Reginald Boyce, who was in the group in the early, just spoke to me a couple of weeks ago, yes, and showed me a kind of thing he was doing. So Francis and Boyce and it have George Maraj. It was a very good group. What happened is that I tried to bring back the collectors so we can launch this thing that are doing right now, which is to get all the collectors ever written in one database, which I feel could get about 100,000. But the support from the other collectors have been limited. So if you go onto the database now, it has 20 something thousand calypsos, but I feel that it's still a far thing from where I wanted to get, which is the first stage. The second stage was to then get the music itself.
right.
I spoke to National Archives today, and they were to help in that second phase. But so the first phase is what we had to do to know exactly what was
But,
there.
but what about what um, funk and tree
But
photography?
which is the problem? I mean, I tell people in the collectors thing, I invited about 12, 15 people, and they invited others to the group which 40. and that they could put what they have into the database. So they are a searchable database that you could just kind of Excel kind of base thing. But some people give advice, but George Rampersad made some input and one or two others. But I mean, I think people will move. And look, I know as we talking here, and also a text coming from Lady Adana looking for some Calypso from 2002. Now, if the database up,
Yeah.
you have to call me. It is there. You just touch your
Right.
fingers and say, "Oh, this is where it is." Right? If you want to get the actual songs, well, that's a different thing that come later on.
And then it's also important sometimes in some instances. I've seen that over the years where I have to transcribe songs to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's the next thing I started
Sometimes
do.
do research and so on.
I
So that
started that.
importance of
Yeah,
getting
that project too, I began. I have a database of I think maybe 1,000 calypsos written out already. I mean, when I
right,
clean it up, I say, well, I'll just put it up out in the internet, maybe on our website.
right,
People will see it now,
right,
and they could keep adding more. But
right,
I just get requests for calypsos, one a day, 5 a week.
right.
And I say, but I could make it easy instead of coming on me, just one look at the database. Instead of ask me where it is Ebony singing 2004 in the humorous. Man, just look for 2004, you can find it. Type it in.
Right.
So that is thing, yeah.
All right. So all right. That takes us to where we're going on Wednesday because on Wednesday, starting like I said, Kitchener A to Z. So we're starting at 8. It's
Yeah.
about 15
Well,
collections from 8 o'clock.
yeah, it's 50 we have. In fact, we have we have some 400 Kitchener calypsos. Interesting. We were able to find from Kitchener's discography that we know of 400 of the 420 something calypsos that he recorded from Green Fig all the way down to Toco Band or wherever he do last. So you have plenty to play, man.
Yeah, Toco Band.
And when we get to X, if there's no X, calypso beginning with X, we could do what our baby leaders do. When you get to X in the calypso alphabet, is go to a box.
X as in box, yeah. X as in box.
And Kitchener have about 3 calypsos about boxing.
Box, right.
So we can't go far.
You know, in the list that we give among the Kitchener songs beginning with A, there's a song at the bottom of the about Alfonso, which reminds me. I listen to the song, and it very much reminds me of Valdez from Blakey. And because in the song, Kitchener was talking about all them men and them Joe Pringy and all them fellas. That Alfonso himself. He's an ex-Spanish Valdez, Alfonso.
Yeah. But the crazy I kill a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It have all that. So I suppose well Wednesday we play in Kitchener and they forwarded
looking forward to Wednesday.
Yeah, I should have one of the actors in the group already say he could make it to what should be there. And we talk about the play also. Launching that production.
See? Come again?
Yes. So I say we'll also when we do the Kitchener talk about the play. The production of the Kitchener play. They wouldn't make the walk.
Don't make the walk is
play
by Zero. Of course, we're looking to put that on in April.
In the Kiss month, yeah, you'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. So we have research tomorrow again. So something happening. Anyway, since all invited tonight, I have to say Yeah.
Definitely
Thanks
celebrating.
for the invite tonight. Here, I have to go and
Yeah,
find
yeah, yeah, yeah.
this
Look
colorful lady
like
Adana.
cannot one way, but you understand Kaiso is Kaiso. Soka is Soka. Calypso and Soka is the
See,
same.
Zeno, it was nice. It was nice
All
sharing the
out.
same stage with you.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
It was really
I just
nice
say
sharing the same stage with you.
the other way around. I the outside. You know, all the fellas is Calypsonian,
I am not a
and
Calypsonian.
You that
I mean,
Calypsonian too?
But it was nice sharing the
mm,
stage with you,
yeah.
Zeno. Plenty,
Yeah.
plenty, plenty, plenty information.
All right. Well, so it is.
Yes,
All
you
right.
know,
Well,
I,
thanks very much. Gary,
thanks, fellas. All right.
I
Gary,
truly enjoyed it.
you read the full blown let me go out there to do
Well, I go
something
on there. Let me go on. This
on
hour night,
Wednesday
people
evening,
call it
8 o'clock,
All right, Zeno.
open at 8
call it for
p.m.
Calypso. All right.
We begin the
All right.
celebration of the 100th birth anniversary of Grandmaster Lord Kitchen, and we do this every Wednesday from 8 all the way down to 10 o'clock, and we're going up to the 2 days after Kitchener's birth anniversary.
Really? All right.
So you have 9 editions of that. So you should be able to play them 400 songs.
You making me
You
a
know,
radio. You making me a radio man, right?
nothing wrong with that.
You
Nothing
making me a
wrong with that.
radio man, right? All
You see,
right.
the other thing we used to say like 100. Some people have TV face, some people have radio face.
Radio freeze. I know. I know about that.
Gary, go ahead. Go ahead, Gary.
No, well, no. I was just saying thank you very much. This is tonight was nice. Tonight was nice.
Yes,
Zeno truly. Zeno put things in perspective in a simple way, you know, very very
okay.
simple with the soca and the calypso and the 2 line, the 4 line, and the 16 line. That is as
Yeah,
simple
they
as it
take the
could get.
phone color. So because, and then of course,
Yes,
what you were saying there is in a sense that we come right back to one, in the sense that
exactly.
that goes starts the length of whatever song.
Yeah, because if you check all them rhythms for this year, all them fancy rhythms you had that people singing on, none of them are going beyond 3 minutes, None of them. Two something, 250 something, three just after three, and that is it.
Why? Why
So
should we
it
go
come
past
back short again.
why should we go to 3 minutes and we know the DJs are going to play only about a minute and a half
And
of
a
it?
minute and a
That's the
half.
next
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
next thing.
Why?
Yeah, the full blown name, man.
Yeah.
Let me hear. Thanks
Oh,
again,
that's it.
Gary. Sabi.
We go out with that, right? All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Later. Kabi, thanks.
No problem, man. No problem. No problem.
Say you're open league, girl, I think you're looking fine. Say you want company, yeah. Girl, I like that, yeah. Baby, I'm what you need. I don't wanna waste your time. Let me tell you about some things that you should know. Yeah. Can't give you everything, but my heart full of love. I do have no fancy car, but my heart full of love, baby. I've been through so many things, now I know what I want. Yeah. So if you're cool, it's a party for two. Let me run the tune up a bottle and spoon. Let me give you a love that you never know, no. Tell me, it'll take some time, maybe we can go slow. Tell me, can I give you a love that you never know, no. Tell me, it'll take some time, maybe we can go slow. Tell me, so you wanna be happy or you wanna be rich? Can't get me no rich girl. Girl, you wanna live life or you wanna take it? I can't get me no rich girl. Say anytime you're ready, we go cross our bridge. Man a cool, man a simple. Me have 5 cents and me no have no dollar. Yeah. If you want something, say so. If you can't make them say no. No pressure. If you think that you could do better, yeah. Got on the table. I don't have a major pay.